You've done a great deal for us already. I wonder if you're willing to do a bit more. While Famia has proven a steadfast companion, I believe our current predicament requires someone a bit more adroit when things take a turn for the perilous. I do. One of your native companions warned you off of it, didn't they? Believe me, I sympathize. But despite my lifestyle, I'm still an Argonian, one with ample means. Who would I be if I didn't use that wealth to help my people? Yes, you are clearly the best at what you do. I can think of no one more qualified to lead this endeavor. You and Zukas have grown close, correct? He knows a great deal about the Remnant, I'm sure. Please, convince him we only want to help. Thank you for your efforts thus far, and your achievements to come. I have business in Murkmire. Perhaps we can reconvene there once you've made your inquiries with Zukas. It is. I spent the greater part of my youth in Cyrodiil. Taking on Imperial dress, name, and customs made things easier. Of course, it makes things here in Murkmire more complicated. One of my life's many ironies. No, I was hatched in Morrowind. You'll forgive me if I don't elaborate. It was a very difficult time, one best forgotten. As my native eggkin say, best to let it pass. The antiquities market. No surprise there, I'm sure. I know I'm a bit starchy now, but in my youth, I was quite the explorer. I discovered several untouched Ayleid ruins and auctioned their treasures for a tidy sum. Hardly. The Ayleids treated my ancestors very poorly. I prefer to think of this as simple reparations. In any case, my business interests are purely philanthropic now. Like Famia, I only seek to preserve Argonian relics for future generations. It is, in fact. You have a very keen eye. You should know that the crystal was a tremendous discovery. Vaka stones like this one are very difficult to come by. Famia didn't tell you? Vaka stones are mysterious crystals, not unlike the Ayleid Welkid stones. Our ancestors used them to store the raw magicka that falls from the sun, thus their radiant yellow hue. Powerful relics, to be sure. If an opportunity presents itself, perhaps. I suspect that some ancient Argonian relics require Vaka stones to function. No doomsday devices, though, I promise. An item of tremendous historical significance and arcane power. Very little scholarship exists on the subject, but I do know a little. Argonian elders often referred to it as a sacred egg, or Zalthithal. Eggs always contain something, right? Answers. About the Hist, their beginnings, their powers, their intentions. All I know for certain is that it does not contain simple coins or ancient bric-a-brac. The Remnant is a vessel for great power. We must be cautious and well prepared. Whatever is best for the people of Murkmire. I won't act without their consultation if that's what you're worried about. Again, I may be something of an outsider, but I am still an Argonian. This isn't some purely academic matter for me. I honestly couldn't say. Most of that history was beaten out of my exiles by the Dark Elves centuries before I was born. Slavers take great pains to destroy our racial identity, you see. Makes us easier to control, I suppose. You mean, has the Hist spoken to me? I'd prefer not to talk about that right now. A conversation for another time.
What were you thinking, bringing this thing here?
Ah, Biko. I would be lying if I said this is unexpected. Welcome to my home, Brightthroat Village. Cozier than Lilmuth, I think. What brings you? Let me hazard a guess. Of course you do. This matter of the Remnant, you must understand, it is fragile as a marsh robin's egg. Even so, I trust your heart. And truthfully, we could use the help. Brightthroats are negotiators, not warriors. And war is brewing. All answers lie with the Hist. It is just a matter of hearing what it has to say. Chimemaker Shuvu can help us. Our Hist speaks through the wind, you see. Its words rustle through the boughs, and our chimes sing out its counsel. Poetic, right? Old Shuvu spends his time in the glade of chimes, to the west of the village. In my youth, I would spend all my time listening to the chimes. It is a very good place. If you go there now, I will join you. You will like Chimemaker Shuvu, I think. Very wise and very pleasant. Like one of your gray-muzzled bark dogs. Let's make our way to the glade. The Remnant. It is not a thing known, but a thing felt. Like rain on the shoulders, or a brief whiff of cinnamon grass. Difficult to explain to outsiders, I think. Ha, this is fair. When I was a hatchling, a very old Nahish elder told me a story about a lost tribe, one that lived far away in houses of stone. She did not speak about the Remnant, but its name swelled in my heart. I do not know why. My knowing tree is barren. Sorry, Biko. Better to learn these things together anyway. For you, at least. Just think, if I knew where the Remnant was, I would probably have hidden it by now. Then you would never get to see it. Is the name not clear? It is a glade. It is full of chimes. Some people think that the Hist speaks to us, just as I speak to you, using words, you see. We call this kahupwo, the mouth talk. Very rare, Biko. Most Hist speak without words. In Brightthroat Village, the Hist speaks through chime music.
Yeah! Is that? Ha! Little Zukas, come to visit your old friend in the glade of chimes? He is always so busy now. I recall when he stood only as tall as the kepo grass. And you, Blackguard Slayer, what can this stiff-legged crafter do for you? Remnant of... My. This is no small question, Zuka's friend. Look around you. Each of these chimes sing out a tangle of melodies, but only one tangle. One chime speaks of eggs and hatching, another jangles about death and journey's ends. Ha! The Ogel is clever, Zukas. Yes, my hands gave birth to every chime you hear. But the Remnant? Only one chime can sing its truth. One made by sun-blessed hands in an old time. Older than my egg-mother's egg-mother. A chime as old as our tribe. Locked away, hidden under mud in lost memories. Understand, our egg-sires did not want this truth drifting free on the wind. But Zukas trusts you, so I will trust you. Go to the Wither Vault, claim the chime. We will learn its truth together. The Wither Vault is well north of the village. I would guide you, but my knees grow stiff as kindling wood. Little Zukas can aid you, I have no doubt. Be warned, even Brightthroats who know the mire like their own scales face danger there. Since before he hatched, I called him the Little Stump. he would plant himself at the foot of the listening tree and stare up at the branches, listening. Always listening. I thought he might take my place one day. You should ask him. Treeminder Pavu saw the old sap in Zukas. She made him a root herald, and his days grew short and lean, like an underfed guar. Eventually, he had no time to listen anymore. All is as the Hist wishes it to be. One day, when he has grown old and thin like me, he may return to the glade. Until then, he does the tribe's work. There is no shame in that. None at all.
The path to the Remnant bends like an oxbow. Let's find this chime.
We only cover the ball.
The swamp grows thick here. A far cry from Lilmoth's mud puddles, I think. Oh, Leviathan Pizzle grows across this glade. A very powerful herb, Biko. Remind me to pick some later. I cannot imagine the Brightthroats ever holding territory here. Very little. There it is, just up ahead. This place dries my scales. No good thing comes from stone. Let's make this quick. I fear we will find more than the chime inside this vault. Be careful. The Nahish elders never speak of this place, not even to me. Stay watchful, Biko. I hear something. The chimes. They sing without wind. Just ahead. Kaok, I hate this. Good work, Biko. Let us get back to Brightthroat Village.
Nesting in the wither vault, soiling the chime. My rage quill is engorged.
Be calm, old Shuvu. No one wants to see that.
The wind welcomes you, Zuka's friend. You have the remnant chime? Please, settle an old lizard's spines. The beast Zukas mentioned, it did not gnaw or shed water on it, right? Hist be praised. Take the chime to the listening tree and hang it there. When you are ready, clutch this prayer stone and focus. If your cause is just, the Hist will answer. If not, I guess we have to find a better place to bury this chime. Perfect. Now center yourself in the glade and focus the remnant's mystery on the prayer stone. We seek your guidance and ask the blessing of your song. Sap Mother, Bow Father, please hear our petition and speak the Remnant's truth. I hear nothing. A tangle of whispers, nothing more.
That can't be. Wait, I hear it, Shuvu. I hear it. The Hist sings the Remnant's truth.
Truly? Ha! Ah, little Zukas, I knew you had a chime maker's heart. Come, tell us what you hear.
I am confused. Shuvu is the wisest listener in the tribe. How could he hear nothing when I heard it so clearly? He is very old. Maybe he just needs his ear cavity flushed. Smoke of stars to see what once was seen. Sunless sap to hear what once was heard. A bramble of words. I appreciate the Hist's poetry, but this is not an ideal time for it, I think. I do not know. Hopefully Shuvu can teach me how to decipher the words. It will take time, but I will find you if I learn more. Perhaps friend Famia could help also? Or Cassandra. They both know the marsh's stone secrets. They could prove useful.
You are well traveled, yes? Let us exchange pleasantly.
By the Hist, whatever will I do?
Hello. Cassandra said you'd be here. There's news. Well, you certainly have a spring in your step. Your work with the Bright Throats went well, I take it. Splendid! Following another lead on the Remnant. Or, potential lead. Someone she worked with before she started funding Cyrodiilic collections. I don't know much more. She asked me to tell you to join them when I saw you, so I suppose you should do that. West of here, near that spooky prison. Honestly, I missed most of it. Too preoccupied by her bodyguard. Something about how he looks at me. Gives me the shivers, you know? But we have better things to discuss. What did you learn with Zukas? Ritual Argonian poetry. The words are common, but the meter is all wrong. There's more to it. Missing verses, perhaps? Well, truthfully, Cassandra is the authority on that sort of thing. You should set out. I'll try to dig up a few relevant texts. Smoke and sunless sap. Strange that the Bright Throats Hist would speak in such dour terms. Maybe it describes some dark age. The Alessian incursion of the First Era? Or perhaps a dark age yet to come. Egads, let's hope it's not that. Ugh, I wish I knew. He's just the worst, right? She hired him maybe 6 months ago? I don't think Cassandra's ever received a credible threat to her life, but he's always there, leering at us. Maybe she'll sack him now that you're here. Fingers crossed. Cassandra summoned me. Honestly, it's nice to get out of the office from time to time. Thought I might take in a Tiba Enu match while I'm here. I guess it'll have to wait. I need to get back to Lilmoth to research this poem of yours. Oh, they're mostly fine, if a little shaken up. A few of them have sworn off exploring for good. Hard to blame them, I guess. Luckily, Zadaza chose to stay on. She would never let her career end with an abduction. Far too proud for that.
It's no use. Pockets have been picked clean.
Nothing is ever that simple. You found us. Good. As you can see, we've met with some difficulty. I apologize for the unsightliness. Were your inquiries in Brightthroat Village fruitful? Murder, apparently. The victim was Hitsasi, a former associate. Not so pleasant or learned as Famia, but still useful in his own way. He traveled in less reputable circles. I had hoped he could shed some light on the Blackguards' plans. That is what we are trying to determine. Whatever happened, it was neither clean nor brief. What a waste. If the Blackguards came after him, Hitsasi must have known something about the Remnant after all. Look around and see what you can find. His throat was cut. Simple bandages weren't enough to staunch the bleeding, it seems. What have you found? Show them to me, if you would. Pages torn from Hitsatsi's journal. I do not mean to speak ill of the dead, but I must admit some surprise. He never struck me as someone committed enough to keep a journal. If he knew about the Remnant, this could prove invaluable. So, the Blackguards have learned what we already know. The truth of the Remnant cannot be torn from my eggkin because they do not know it. Only their tribal relics can provide the answers. How did you learn the Brightthroat's riddle? You see, the voice of the Hist needs a conduit, some physical means of communication. The Blackguards failed to acquire the Brightthroat's chime, but they clearly mean to steal some relic from the Deadwater tribe. Bold. Or spectacularly stupid. Precisely. You know one of the tribe's calls, don't you? Jaksik Orn, if I recall correctly. Find her and plead our case. If the Deadwater tribe has some way of learning more about the Remnant, we need to find it before the Blackguards do. Safe travels. When you've concluded your business with the Deadwater tribe, meet me back at Cyrodiila Collection's headquarters in Lilmoth. We're getting close. I can almost feel it. Please, don't mistake my stoic demeanor for a lack of enthusiasm. All of this is tremendously exciting. But, in answer to your inquiry, yes, the primacy of these relics is a thrilling discovery. It supports a theory of mine about the Hist. Well, I wrote a treatise on the subject some years ago, a brisk 400 pages. But I suppose I can give you a summary. Argonians share a special relationship with their Hist. They hear its will, taste its decrees. Yes, well, that's just it. I can't hear the Hist. When I place my hands on the Hist's bark or rest in the shadow of its boughs, I hear nothing. No whispers, no faint smells or soothing tones. Just silence. Deafening silence. Thank you. I admit the silence troubles me, but do you see? My eggkin sometimes need intermediaries, too. With these antiquities, the chimes, the dead water relic, and eventually the remnant itself, perhaps I'll finally hear something.
On dishonor. Issue like that is more than stupid tradition.
I grind my fangs. This is a desecration.
Taking forever.
I narrow my eyes. I know what you seek. You and the Blackguards both. Sojay and I hack and cleave and stab, yet more Ogels swim over our borders every day. All looking for the Remnant of Argon. I must find it first. I will find it first. Consider. We killed many savages together. We will do so again. If the Hist thinks you are worthy of Remnant secrets, you will survive. If not, so be it. I hunt Blackguards. They skulk around our village, yanking up our grave stakes like salt daisies. I arch my brow ridge. Special. Yes. Our grave stakes do not just pin the dead to their resting place. Each tells a story, some as old as the tribe itself. Some of our greatest Rajkals even had the honor of using a Hist bow to make their stakes. Yes. All the more reason to hack these Blackguards dead. Meet me in the swamp east of the village. Our quarry is there. Many unstaked bog blights also. Freed from their dead sleep by those thieving savages. Bare your fangs, Ogel. Time for war. Here already. You are swift, Ogel. I will give you that. But enough flattery, I think. From now on, all is war talk. We seek the grave stakes of several Deadwater Carls, and vengeance. I know how we can claim both. The Blackguards steal our fallen Eggkin's grave stakes without regard for the stake's purpose. Now, the rivers choke on bog blights, dead and not dead things that eat Nagas whole. With cunning, we will see to it that they eat only Blackguards. The Blackguard savages build ponjis. This word means fumers. Racks of oily, spoiled meat that keep the bog blights off their scent. As we recover the grave stakes, destroy the fumers. The dead not dead will find our enemies and do the rest. This time we attack as one. One serpent, two heads. A single spear ant means nothing, but a hive means death. A bog blight is nothing to us alone. But when they gather in great numbers, great danger. Great glory also for those who fight them. My egg brother Soje fell to the bog blights. Do not be. It was a glorious battle. And he fights with me still, you see. For the Deadwater, death is certain. But death brings new life. As shield and bow, or axe and knife. In time, the soul moves on. Everything changes, but nothing ends. I curl my lips. Poetic. Another word for soft, I think. Soft words belong to bright fruits like sweet.
Set the trap and let go.
Good. The bog blights will feast on this camp soon enough. Yes. These blackguards will pay a high price for challenging the Deadwater tribe. Well done. Now travel north. We will raid their main encampment and finish this. Over here, Ojel. I know I spoke of fighting as one, but these two were too loud and foolish. Sojay and I had to kill them. Before they died, they spoke of the Remnant and the Hist Woodgrave stakes. One shouted at the other about a relic they could not find. The grave stake of a Chronokal, the great Deadwater war chief called Etra of the Many Spears. Few Deadwater warriors rival Etra. He is Wutum. You would say legend, I think. I blink my eyes. Maybe. Reading Azulvat is Gravesinger work. We cannot know until we claim the stake. You will have to fight him for it. All Deadwater Carls know Etra's resting place. Look west and follow the ridgeline. His tomb is there. My tail sinks. Etra is buried in the Tomb of Many Spears, an unclean place. Vahat, or taboo in the Dry Tongue. Sojay and I cannot fight there, but you can. If you can pry the stake away from Etra, bring it to the Gravesinger's lodge. I will reclaim your body and make a helm of your skull. You have earned that, at least. Why do you slump? Bristle your war spines. Etra was a legend, true. But what you fight is not Etra. It is the pieces not needed, bound together by slime and old-time magic. A beast to crush and cleave. Take your weapon and strike true. A call has no tongue for stories. But I will do my best. The Nahish elders say that Etra had a soul older than the tribe. Even before he hatched, the egg handlers heard him chanting from inside his tiny shell. Blood, death, glory. I shake my head. A hero to us. Not to you, I think. Etra rolled across the marsh like a thunderhead, felling great trees, slaying huge beasts, and eating the hearts of great warriors. Often, Etra would take his opponent's grave stakes as a trophy. He stored them in the great stone vault that eventually became his tomb. The place where you will face him. The Tomb of Many Spears. One dark day, a great slime claimed the vault. When Etra learned of this, he grew furious and attacked. He did not. He died in glory. Many great Deadwater Carls raided the tomb, seeking pieces of Etra. Bones or sinew to make mighty weapons. They all died. Now their corpses, and what remains of Etra's, stalk the tomb forever. Like I said, Vahat. I roll my eyes. If you do not hurry, I will end up telling the story of the slow-legged Ojel who lost the Remnant of Argon. Go now. Be swift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then, is it Etra's story on the gravestake? Or the Hist's?
Both, my Carl. What is our story, if not the story of the Hist?
I see them return. You destroyed Etra? Good. Let that victory rattle the roots. Gravesinger Kiat tells me what we seek is not in the gravestake symbols, but in the wood itself. I do not know how to read wood, but he says I must. I shake my head. It is a gravestake like the others. I do not even know what to look for. The symbols are worn. But wait. I see it. In the grain. In the whorls and knots. The remnant. It swims in the wood. I can almost touch it. Patience! There are words. In a garden in a maw of stone. Yes, that is all. I see nothing more. This is what we hunted for. A garden. I hiss fire. Why could it not be more simple? Kaok. There must be more. What do you know that we do not? What is us? The Bumbler, Famia, Zukas, the dry-scale Cassandra. A nest of weak spines in Ogel treachery. I will not. I am sorry. The Deadwater are a suspicious people. But you deserve my respect. And my trust. I will join you in Lilmuth.
You are most welcome.
Please, you must understand. We only seek the remnant to... Ah, there you are. Ah, thank Mara you're here. I haven't seen a gathering go this poorly since my sister Concordia's 7th birthday. Marinus put slugs in her pudding. I can still hear the screams. Whew. For the record, I did offer tea, but what's needed is answers. A location, clearly. But a location for what? I did some more research on the first riddle, the one about smoke and sap, remember? Well, after combing through a half-dozen dissertations, I'm pretty confident it's referring to a dream wallow. It's an Argonian religious practice, sort of. I've never witnessed one myself, but they typically involve a period of isolation and exposure to potent, mind-altering herbs. According to the text, a dream wallower can see things beyond the physical. Yes, now if we could wait. A garden in a maw of stone? Of course! That's gotta be the Swallowed Grove! The Rionwo! A dream wallow in the Swallowed Grove. What could be more exciting? We should discuss this with Cassandra right away.
The Rionwo. Many strange things stalk the Swallowed Grove, Bikos.
Strange or not, Sojay and I will kill anything that threatens the Remnant. Anything.
A dream wallow in the Swallowed Grove. Fascinating. And timely. Very well done, both of you. Immediately. I hate to set out in such a hurry, as careless haste can be fatal in this profession. Unfortunately, We cannot afford to wait. Thank you for all you've done, my friend. The Remnant of Argon is almost within our grasp. Just look at us. A bright-throat negotiator, a Deadwater Call, an alley tough Naga, 2 scholars and a hero. As unlikely a party as any I've seen before. I can only hope that discovering the Remnant will tighten these bonds of fellowship.